hear you. And all of it.
Thank you, and good afternoon once again, and welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum weekly talk show. As always, it is a pleasing pleasure to have you come on here. Today we have a second appearance of one of our recently satisfied presidential candidate for the Federation of the Liberian Madingo Association in the USA, FELMAUSA, as you know, and I'm speaking of Honorable Isiaka Sidibey, who is contesting or will be contesting for the presidency comes July 6th. Tonight we actually have two of the three presidential candidates appearing. Right now we are having Mr. Sidibey on the show, and later tonight we will have Honorable Bangali Trawali appearing as well. The one thing they have in common, they all want to come and talk about their campaign, their platform, what is it they wish to do with the federation. One thing that is different between the first time Mr. Sidibey appeared and tonight, in my opinion, is the fact that when he appeared last week, he was still a potential candidate. He was testing the waters. And today, congratulations to him. He's formally registered. He's been satisfied as a candidate for the federation. So that's a great major change, if you ask me. So without much delay, I will turn the floor over to Honorable Isiaka Sidibey, so he will begin his deliberation. And then shortly after that, all of us, you, including myself, will engage him on issues of community concern. With that said, Honorable Isiaka Sidibey, the floor is all yours, sir. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Kroma. Thank you, Baraka. I can't thank you enough for allowing the community and the larger Liberian community to always come here and bring their positions forward, the way they think about an organization or our country. It is such an honor to be here, and I want to welcome all our brothers and sisters that have taken their time to come and hear us out. It is so important and crucial, especially at this time. It could not be clearer that certain things need to be brought to the table. And I am very, very humbled by this occasion, by this chance to come to our brothers and sisters and appeal to them, not just appeal to them theoretically, but practically with what we think in the best interest of this community and subsequently our country as well. Because we are not an entity in an isolation. I believe that we are a community with a broader bird-eye view, looking at Liberia as our interest. That is our goal, and a larger ethnic group of the Madingo community in general. Having said all of that, strictly to the point, I want to go straight to why we decided to run for this presidency. What have we done to deserve to run for the presidency? Why do we intend to stand in the shoes of those that have done so many great things for the country? Why? Why do we have this ambition? Is it out of selfishness? Is it that we have something that we believe others don't have? This is why we've come to this show, this important show. It can't be said enough how important this show is. It's done so many good things. So having said all of that, once again, I want to introduce myself, Isiaka Sidibey, running for presidency of FELMAUSA. Many delegates may be here, and I'm talking directly to you. We want this election to be not by affiliation. We want it to be by choice. What are the choices here? What do we have, and what do we intend to do? You view those positions, and you make a decision based on those.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Are you there? Go ahead. We're hearing you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So when we decided to run for this office, it was based on what we think we've accumulated in terms of experience, in terms of setting leadership criteria and standards, setting appeal skills that we think we can bring to the table that is not there at this time. We've seen that over time, the community has been shaking. It's been moving up and down. We decided to see, you know what, is there a way that we can bring stability? We have two things in FELMAUSA at this current stage. We have defined Madingoism in a way that I personally, in certain areas, and not generally, and I stand corrected, has not been advantageous to us. One. And two, we've seen that there are certain things that we actually don't have, and we need it. We have priorities in our community. So when I decided to run for the office, these are the things that I wanted to introduce to our community. I believe that FELMAUSA has done so many great things. It has to continue to evolve. We have to continue to evolve. We have to do so many different things because we are, I believe we are at the bottom ladder in so many areas. We've done great things, no discredit to our community. Other communities wish they were Madingos, but we can always improve. We can always add to the treasure that we have. So my platform speaks greatly. It's not as huge as others may do, and I don't think we need huge platform. What we need is specific things to achieve for the community that is deemed necessary. And I want us to be very careful and critical and attentive to this point. Mr. Krumah and the members and the audience here today, I have believed that in my entire adult life, my community and the larger Madingo community that I have served, I've come to realize the enormous challenges facing our Madingo community. And we must think about it. While there have been improvements in our individual aspects of life, and while there might be some progress in some sectors, the truth remains that we are still at the bottom when it comes to the single most important thing, that is education. I believe that education, we need a better improvement in that, and that will highlight my platform, and I will go into detail on what I intend to do when it comes to education. I will talk about the short-term funding and the long-term goal and sustainability funding. We also have a problem of transparency and the rule of law. There's no law that is perfect, but we can always have the desire and the willingness to strive to perfection. That has been my whole goal in life. I am never perfect. I will not be perfect. I will interpret things differently sometimes. But what I must do, I must always be a self-critic. I will always be a self-critic. And at the same time, opening rooms for improvement. Sorry about that. I also will talk about awareness and empowerment. If you look at our organization, Mr. Krumah, you see that it's only about 10% that knows the essence of FELMAUSA to the community, what we do. That percentage is not accurate because we did not do any type of survey, but from the bird's eye view, we can see that at the dining tables, we are not discussing FELMAUSA issues. We are not discussing how important it is for our community to be there for one another, to know about one another, and to defend our language, our ethnicity, and what is important to us. We've not done that. So transparency and rule of law, awareness and empowerment are all part of my platform. And I believe in global and outreach. Global and outreach is that at the end of the day, we are Madingos. When anything happens to Ivorian Madingos, we are concerned. We may not be taking part directly, but we have our heart and souls up there. When something happens to Sierra Leone Madingos, we are always there. So what do we do to take these imaginative memories and stuff into action? I believe that our community needs, or the leadership of our community needs to have an outreach to other leaders to kind of have some ideas, sharing things. We have groups, Ivorian Madingo organizations. We have the Navayas, we have the Guinean. When Madingos are touched, everyone is touched. What do we do to reach out to those people? To say that, you know what, we are all the same Madingos, and we have to help each other in our cities, in our country, and in our endeavors So that's also in my platform. I intend to act on those. And when I say act on them, it's not theory, it's practical. And my record shows that I work on those things. That's one of the things that I want to talk about. We also have incentive and opportunity as one of the things that we want to work on. You've seen many platforms that talk about those things, but they've not acted on. I want to defy those odds. It's something that we've done, and we learn about it, and we have the desire and the courage to take on it. We are a 501c3. I believe that the fact that we always say it is just a community-based something, we don't even get paid for it. So why is it we have to do this the right way? You can see it. You can see it in people's voices. I may not do this. Why? Why should I do it? But this is just something. Why can't we make it easy for one another? Making it easy for one another is the rule of law. Follow the rules. If you want to make it easy by circumventing the rule, then it becomes a problem. So I want to incentivize the work of our people. The 501c3, we are entitled to that. The work that people put into. You may not be getting a paycheck. By the end of the day, they are write-offs for the things that you do, even hourly. So we may not have all the ideas directly and the answers for those things, but I want to work on it. I want to give it a shot to see that how our elected officials, they leave their families. They spend hours on the line trying to work for a non-profit organization. Can this be translated into some funding? So it's something that we've talked about. We've talked to experts. We are not as educated to know all the answers, but we've worked on those things. We've asked. We're getting some answers, and we want to see if we can apply it to this organization. It's not there. So, Mr. Kumar, these are the things that we want to discuss today, and it starts with education. If you may allow me to go into details on what I intend to do specifically on education and all those things that I do.
Absolutely. We are eager to hear. So, yeah, you may begin with education. And by the way, for a second here, for those of you, and there, I know there are so many of you here now. So, indeed, I had predicted, right, that as soon as we get started, we will have more people than we can accommodate. That's a good thing. There are so many of you here now. And I've already opened up your question line. And I like my brother Musa Keita of Rochester. He's already made an entry. So even as you listen to the candidate, don't hesitate to enter, as if you have questions, that's *61. Let's have the questions line up. So as soon as it's done, we'll begin opening up your line to, entertain your questions. And let me quickly apologize to a number of you in Philadelphia who have sent me text messages saying that you could not log onto the conference line directly. You had to buy a phone card. I apologize for we've had a few people using Metro cell phone having issues to come on the show since a year or two ago now. So we apologize for that. But yeah, Brother Isiaka, you are well on track. So go ahead, begin with education. Thank you.
Okay. And by the way, we are going to talk about this, and by Tuesday we will post those things on. Since we've officially begun a campaign, we will post those things on listservs and other media outlets. So you can go to it and make your tentative decisions on your own as well. Bro Kafuma, when it comes to education, no doubt that we need education. But how do we need it? We have many things FELMAUSA has achieved. It started with education. We said as the preamble that we want to help our community through education and other social aspirations to help the Mandingo ethnic group. So when it comes to education, we see that in Liberia, we have seen other elders, our brothers, starting from Brother Keseli, Muhammad Sharif, Basiki Kone. They are doing so many things for the community. But we see that there's not an easy transition to it. Who are going to come back and take the step when those people are beginning to kind of lax a little bit, turn to family issues and stuff? So I believe that the scholarship program is one of the things that we cannot ignore. It should, in fact, be entrenched in the Constitution that no matter which administration comes, it will still remain there. We will have our priorities to take on, but education should be something very sustainable. It should be where we cannot ignore it because it is the single most important thing that hurts us now, and it will continue to hurt us. We fought and we won our battle. And now there's another fight that's going on. Why it is being ignored for a little bit? Why few are taking on? We need a global awareness to it. That it's not so many people that are responding. So I believe that we should continue to do the scholarship program, and how we should do it, it has to be funded. We need to have a short-term and a long-term funding. So my administration believes that when I win the election, inshallah, and I'm not saying it with any type of pomposity, if we win the election, we intend to embark on it aggressively. We have other criteria. We have medical mission. We have other things that this leadership has been doing. We are not touching it where we are stopping it or anything. Medical mission has done so much great things. You can't explain it. It's brought so much love to the Mandingo community from people that would have never loved us at all. So this is something that will stay there. But we also have what is directly impacting our community. We can't ignore it. You are educated today, you are never ignorant after that. But you get sick today, you heal back, you get sick again, you heal back. So we need something that the community can hold on to. So in our funding area, I want to believe that yearly we continue to sponsor at least 10 to 15 Mandingo students in Liberia. And we also have a system in place for our community here. We may not be able to fund people here in colleges and universities, but we have scholarships and we have thousands of scholarship programs in this country. We need to bring awareness to them, have those things, and post them on listserv. We've seen some other community members doing it indirectly, but it has to be FELMAUSA's priority to put this thing there. Reach out to schools. I'm here. I attend sometimes the Ivorian Mandingo community meetings and stuff like that just to see how best our community are doing, how to measure up. We see that every one of them that are in universities here in UTA, Arlington, they have some type of subsidy when it comes to funding their schools because they are 501c3, that's one. And secondly, schools are writing off so many things in terms of computer, in terms of accessories, in terms of scholarship as well. So we can emulate those things, I believe. One of the things we also want to do in education, I believe we should build a school in Liberia. We have a community center here that is pending for this administration. I believe it's very expensive. I believe that not the whole Mandingo community will benefit from it directly. It will be very important to us. But what is more important to us is what we need. I believe we need a school in Liberia. The school will not just help us in terms of minimizing the tuition fees for our Mandingo community, but also it will be used to regenerate funds to sponsor our scholarship program. And it's important to look at it from this point. Here, sometimes we collect the 12 chapters pay only $250, which amount to less than 4,000, or maybe less than 5,000, let's say, less than 3,000 per se. That's not enough for community contribution. And then we have to go out, seek donations. We have to go out, seek help from community members. We have to go out and do so many different things. The executive administration is doing these things people don't even know about them. So I believe that if you build a school in Liberia, about $30,000 to $40,000, a modern school, where it will be used, it's not a free. My community has to be learned. It has to be. We have to learn to accept that things are not free. We may have some type of incentive to be there, but we have to pay for it. That will be used to generate funds to help our schools, our scholarship program. 10 to 15 students a day. We can't lose track of those people. We've seen that during Richmond County, the school system started. It has wound down dramatically. The past 2 years, it was never even on the table. It may have been some work done about it, but it was not brought to everybody's attention. The community was not as enthusiastic about it because it was not as prioritized by the administration. So I believe that a school being a priority in our administration, what we would do, set up a system where it can't go down anymore. Whether another administration comes in, so building a school in my first year, my first term, I want to buy a 2 piece of land in Liberia, which will be about, we've asked people from there, we've asked our community members that were members of this FELMAUSA community that have worked so hard for this community in an elected official capacity. We've asked them about learn and what are some of these things to take a kind of physical analysis of those things. So what they did was they gave us some type of feedback that were very encouraging. I believe that a 75,000 community center down here versus 30 to 40,000 community school in Liberia is a no-brainer. So in my administration, what I would do about school, the first 8 months to be specific, help, get aggressive. All the Mandingo communities out here, all the Mandingo women organizations here, we have thousands, if not we have hundreds of those organizations here. Reach out to them, appeal to them directly. Get those funding, and buy a piece of land. Once they see it, visual learning is the best way of learning in certain areas. Once they see those things, then we decide what do we do. We begin a process, a project, to bring awareness to it. So by the end of a 5-year period, this is not just an administrative criteria. This has to be a FELMAUSA's priority, not an administration priority. A 5-year term where by the end of this 5 years, the school is built. When the school is built, now the next administration, we have to activate our leadership council comprising of our former presidents, board leaders, board chairmen, some other elected officials that can run those things. So when it comes to education, these are some of the things that we want to do. Direct and immediate funding will come from our women organization. And also we have a data system that we want to put in place for all the graduates that we have in the Mandingo community here. We have every year graduation ceremonies, bachelors and masters from Mandingo community. What are they doing to pay back to this community, to help fund this community? What can they do? Have they been reached out? I doubt that. If they've been reached out, what were they told? These are interesting questions that have to be asked. If they can bring something to the table to help this community, that immediate funding will be very vital to our scholarship program. So once the school is built, while we stay seeking donations from here, but we won't be in a dire need for any type of funding for our school because we have something that is regenerating fund, and we have a very transparent, a leadership council that have helped this community. They have put their lives and their time on the line for our community. They want to see this community succeed. To decide, in fact, to expose yourself to ridicule, to so many different things, is a testament to what you intend to do for this organization, for the love you have for this organization. So our administration will do that when it comes to funding. So the long term is sustainability through our school, and the short-term funding is one, through institutions down here, through our 501c3, through our women organizations and chapter leaderships, and then the long-term funding is about sustainability through schools. Mr. Krumah, if you want us to solicit questions on education or you want us to go further.
I'm just going to suggest that I think it would be wise that we take some questions just so we don't bore the audience to. Yeah, that's really smart on your part. So I think we should take some questions. I hope the questions that will be entertaining now will deal with the specific areas that you've talked about already. And then moving forward. So yeah, I do have questions coming. We'll begin by taking those questions, and then we'll allow you to come on with the next project. Now, as you know, as always, should I say, I love to begin the questioning process. And so with that said, let me ask you, first of all, the idea of FELMAUSA building a school in Liberia, in my memory, I don't think that's such a new idea. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe former President Richmond County had mentioned something like that. Now, how far he went with it, that I can't say. I didn't follow through on that. But the question I'd like to ask you, you mentioned about town hall, being costly. You mentioned that both in your literature and now on the show. And in my opinion, other than both medical mission and school education and scholarship program are all, signature projects of past leaders. Town hall, in my opinion, was one of the, if not the original idea that was introduced by the Ability Administration. In other words, it was the Ability Administration's signature project. So are you suggesting that that project be abolished and focus more onto a project that was already in the pipeline. Is that what we need? Is that what are you saying?
Well, I believe that budget was passed, and why is it was not carried out? That remains to be seen. But I want to entertain that debate over time. I want us to have a very good and exhausting debate on this thing. I believe that we have to go with a need versus our want. What do we need at this time? And we have to. I've mentioned privilege in certain areas. Sometimes people it kind of raise an eyebrow. What do we mean by privilege? I believe that we in America here, we have some type of advantage. Our community back home is in dire need of certain things. I believe that to have an immediate impact on our community in terms of health, school is the single most important thing. Education is the most important thing. Education could be through in America here, but what do we need though?
Okay. So
what do we need?
Wants.
Yes. What do we need and what do we want? We could help ourselves here. We have free schools here. Our people are learning through those schools. There are community-based organizations here where people are going to learn madrasa and all those things in their schools. So it is actually a want here to do that. Our need is what we have to have in Liberia. We are educating our brothers down there. They are in dire need of how to fund themselves. They have the desire. You have women back home that just, they can't afford it. All they have to do is they have to close their eyes and marry because there's no way to help themselves. We here, we have a surplus in terms of certain things. It's not easy down here. But it's just so important that we look above ourselves and say, you know what, this guy needed more than me. And he's a member of my ethnicity. I've mentioned it here thousands of times in our community, in meetings, in other areas where we have Madingo meetings or Mande meetings, all those things. I've made it clear to them. I said, who needs it more? You have to serve a cause greater than yourself. If we decide that we want to create a community organization or federal organization that will help our ethnicity, we have to go to what we need. And that is, I think, the Liberian community needs it more. And it will even give a greater respect to us than we might anticipate. Let's just start a project, and you will see how it goes, Mr. Kuran. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, folks, we will begin entertaining your questions. And if you're just joining us, I'd like to welcome you to Liberian Diaspora Forum weekly talk show. Today, actually, we have two great recently satisfied FELMAUSA presidential candidates. We are currently hosting Honorable Isiaka Sidibey of Dallas, Texas, and later tonight we'll be hosting Honorable Bangali Tawale of Minnesota. So Isiaka is here presenting his platform. I know you've all been listening, and so those of you interested, we will take your questions. We'll begin with, I believe this is Brother Musa Keita from Rochester, Minnesota. Correct me if I'm wrong. Brother Keita, assuming it is you, welcome to Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your question, comment from Mr. Sidibey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kuma. You are 100% right. This is Musa M. Keita calling from Rochester, Minnesota. All right, having listened to the expose by our brother Sidibey, mentioning something like a platform, which I want to bit differ, because if you want to set a platform, you got to show the means and how. That's why people have to get trust in you, because you're going to sign a social contract with the community that you so wish to lead. If you talk about education, we have heard that a lot, but it did not show the method which you want to use to make education a priority should you emerge victorious in the ensuing FELMAUSA election. Albeit, I just want to ask this question because I'm just listening. First of all, what is your own weakness or weaknesses and strengths when it comes to leadership? Second, do you think this current leadership or this current administration of FELMAUSA...
Mr. Keita, would you hold on for a second? We just lost Isiaka. His line just dropped.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I'm sure he should be coming right back on here. Mr. Sidibey? Isiaka? Yeah, I just saw his line drop. Okay. He's back. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Sidibey. Let me open up his line here.
Okay. I'm happy.
Mr. Sidibey?
Yes.
Mr. Keita? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're back, Mr. Sidibey. Yeah. Mr. Keita is not done yet. Mr. Keita is not doing to wait, so. Hello, Mr. Sidibey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
hold on. I know your line went off briefly, so I'm glad you're back on, so we'll let Mr. Keita finish his question here. So go ahead, Mr. Keita. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I said I have a problem when it comes to what you said was a platform. That was not a platform. It was just an explanation as to how you think you want to do something. Secondly, my question is this. What is your own strength and weaknesses when it comes to leadership? You have to be bold to us because we want to employ you, so we want to know what you tend to do better. Secondly, do you think this present administration of FELMAUSA has gone wrong in any way or form, manner, either by corruption or making the community divided, and you think it make it better? That's my question, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Keita. These are the reasons why we have this debate. The first question, what was the first question before you come to this administration? What was the first question?
What is your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to leadership?
The first question, well, they did talk about the education, which you talked about earlier. Obviously, it does not see your presentation as a platform. I think it's more of an explanation of what ought to be done. So if you want to comment on that, and then the question of what's your own weakness, what are your own weaknesses and our strength vis-a-vis leadership, and then this information. All right.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we made it clear to our folks earlier today that about Tuesday, those things will be written in booklets and sent out to our community where we think can be reached. We may not know that we may not mail it to everybody, but we send it to various media outlets where people can view it and see it in a format. But I think that today was going to be to explain our vision in the form of a platform on this forum. But I appreciate that if it is a correction anyway. If it is one, I appreciate it. When it comes to a weakness and a strength of a leader, specifically the question was asked about me. A leader is never strong in everything because we have different personalities. We have people that are dominant. We have people that are influential. We have people that are consensuous, and we have people that are steady. And you may not have a high mark on all of those things. You can be a D and be an S at the same mark. It's not just easy. We all have our strengths. I believe to lead, you have to have an understanding of people you want to lead. If I want to lead a Majingo community, I have to understand what it is to be a Majingo man. And what can you do to bring a Majingo community in line with your vision? How do you put out something that they can embrace? That's a strength that I believe I have. I have understood our community. I believe that there's something about our community that is unique, and I have those characters. The strength of my strength is understanding of my community and a willingness to understand you and disagree with you. I have that strength. All these times that I've been a presence on FELMAUSA, in FELMAUSA's leadership in some ways, on the board, and before the board, when we were actually doing a conflict resolution with this current VPA. By that time, he was not a VPA yet. We brought a conflict resolution into effect when there was a fight about bringing this community to a standstill. The leadership on the board was talking about injunction to stop an inauguration. I was the one who created that committee, an outside committee, to see how best we can help and resolve the problem. We received some insults, specifically a word that was used that I will never forget, but I like it now. To say, I don't speak to a non-entity. This was spoken to us. We remembered it. But what I did was embrace it and still call after that meeting and say, my intention was never to hurt you. It was actually to make you understand you are part of a community that's bigger than you. Those appealing strategies is something that I think I have, but I have also a flaw. Sometimes you have to stand up to certain things at all times when you feel it's not as right. But our intention that we want to hold on to this precious organization and do whatever it takes to help our ethnicity, you want to do that at the same time again with following the law. You kind of like slip sometimes. That could be a flaw. Some will call it, I say, you are just a humble person or stuff. But if it's not right, you call it a flaw. So that could be my leadership problem. It's something that I have worked on. I'm not perfect in it, but I want to continue to work on it. I hope that answers your question as well. And, if there's a follow-up question we can ask. When it comes to this leadership, you said, what do I think about this leadership? Every leadership has a problem. Every leadership has an advantage. Every leadership has done certain things. It's only history that judges people, not individuals. We measure up our achievement by seeing what did the others do. Specifically, if you ask me a question about this administration, I think there were certain things that were wrong, and I'm only an individual. They did some good things. We can't deny those. If you want me to explain those things, I can go into head. Before we came into this board and before this administration came, there was a concept of illegitimacy on an organ that the Constitution regards as one of the as the highest decision-making body. The previous administration called them illegitimate. This leadership said, no, we're not illegitimate. An administration does not deem an organ illegitimate. It's only the Constitution that does that. So that's where conversation begins between organs. So this leadership did that. Was it a good thing? Absolutely. Were there some missteps? Of course. It was all over the place. They came with anticipation. It started with fights all over. You saw Arizona issues. You saw Atlanta issues. You saw Lima. I'm not here to defend them. I'm here to explain what I have to do to maybe work on those issues that the administration may not have done correctly, and also take up on the other things that they did rightfully. Let's take an example. Financial reports, which is something that they talked about before they became president that they were going to work on. They did not live up to that promise. And there are people that I respect a lot. I have worked with. I have disagreed with them, but through work. This is an imperfect organization. We have to hold on to it. It's so precious to us. These are some of the things that I believe. They've had some missteps. I'm not sure if it's corruption. If I call it corruption, but I call it not as transparent, because that's what we said. Bring it out, let's see it. So corruption has to be something where we have established and we have passed a verdict on. So I think I wouldn't use that word. I would say it as transparent, because it has to be. They have to bring it out first, and you say, okay, they've corrupted it before we can actually use this word. Especially from my standpoint, I want to be very fair, and I want to be very, very cautious on what I say. Thank you very much, Mr. Keita.
All right. Thank you. We'll take the next caller. If you're just joining us, I know a few of you have. We are hosting Brother Isiaka Sidibey, the presidential candidate for FELMAUSA upcoming election. So if you have any question, comment, or concern, by all means, please dial *61. And by the same token, we do like to remind you that later tonight we'll be hosting Brother Bangali Trawale, another candidate for the Federation, the upcoming election. So next question here, Philadelphia caller, 215 area code. Your last four digits, 5481, 5481. Would you please tell us your name and confirm where you're calling from and your question for Mr. Sidibey? 5481. 5481, are you there? Hello? 5481? All right. That's just not by the phone. We'll move on to the next person. The next caller then will be Lasana Kamara. It's on here. I don't know where you're calling from. Mr. Kamara, would you please tell us where you're calling from and your question for Mr. Sidibey?
Well, actually, my name is Asata Kamara. I'm calling from Asata Kamara, calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know me, I've been directly involved with all FELMAUSA medical missions since 2009, locally and internationally. I have about a couple of questions for Mr. Sidibey. Mr. Kroma, I haven't really been able to talk to you, but thank you for this forum. Job well done. And Mr. Sidibey, you talk about very, very important things, really dear to my heart. Education, you mentioned. I would like for you to elaborate a little bit how you're going to implement some of these goals. You talk about your short-term goals, long-term goals, and that I am currently involved with the education scholarship personally in Liberia. 2009, I had allocated $1,000 through Village administration, so duplicate administration, mainly for girls, but mainly the candidates were never selected. So my last trip in Liberia, I did make some selection about 3 Madingo girls that I'm in the process of, financing their education right now in Liberia. You talk about the education, okay, but I didn't really get it specifically how you're going to. I know we FELMAUSA do have a scholarship already in place. I'm not really aware of how it's being done, but I can ask you, how do you plan to implement this to benefit our brothers and sisters in the United States and in Liberia as well? The second question will be, the last time that we went to Liberia on the medical mission, most of the healthcare providers, about maybe 30 or 25, we had less than 5 or less than 3 Madingo healthcare providers. What do you plan to recruit or to stimulate? I know we have a lot of Madingos here or from our ethnic group that are in the healthcare. What do you plan to recruit more of Madingo healthcare providers to be on the next medical mission to Liberia, if we do have one? And for you to be specific, how do you plan to implement your scholarship program in Liberia? Because I saw a lot of sisters and brothers in Liberia that need help. It doesn't have to be tons of money. $200 a year or $300 a year is enough. So will you please elaborate on this point? Because we really need to have more of Madingos on the next medical mission. Doesn't mean we're going to Liberia to help Madingos directly, but we cannot have all Loma people coming on FELMAUSA medical mission to Liberia. That's conflict of interest to me. I want the medical mission in the name of FELMAUSA to benefit the entire Liberian, but at the same time we must maintain the credit that is from the Madingo organization, and we do have more and more of Madingo healthcare providers as compared to other ethnic groups. So that's really frustrating me. So let's start right there.
Thank you, Mrs. Kamara. Thank you. And by the way, we know you. Thank you for that $1,000 contribution years back. We found a lot about you. We haven't seen you in person. We haven't had the privilege to do so, but we know you already by name. So thank you, Mr. Sidibey. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. And thank you for all the service that you're doing, those selfless services that you do for the community. We can only imagine, some of us can only imagine being in the shoes, and we want to thank you for it. When it comes to education, I have specific goals as to how to carry out specific goals and I want to be very specific on how I intend to carry out the education project because it was brought before and it died down. What do I do that it doesn't die down anymore? We have to do that. We need it more than we need anything. Nobody can fight that debate. It has been brought up before, but it requires an energy level, a desire, and a passion, because you have to have a passion for something. And Ms. Kamara just gave $1,000. It has to be something that an inner drive in her to do that. So what we have in terms of specific funding, we see our Madingo communities here. The immediate funding, that's what I'm going to go back first. We have our Madingo communities here. Every year, if you actually imagine how much they spend on other programs that is not actually of great essence, it's just mind-boggling. All those Madingo groups that are here, I don't think they've been told enough what is it that FELMAUSA is about. What is our intention? What can we do to help? When this administration had a chance the last time to come to my state through a phone call, through a conference call, we called all the women in Dallas and Houston. A handful of them, about 60 to 65 that were on that conference call. They all said, when the time comes, call us, we will spend. It was not followed through because of whatever reason that went on. I was not in the administration directly. But you could see that the information alone, how they embrace it and they love. So I want to make sure that our women organizations that are here, we reach out to them directly. No middleman. It has to be through a board or this leadership or this that. We have a membership committee that was confirmed, and they've been given the power to reach out to members of our organization to see where best we can increase FELMAUSA's benefits. We want to reach out to them, have a direct appeal, how they can help fund the scholarship program. That's one. And it will be naive and kind of broad, but that's one. Secondly, we have educators here in our community. We have tons of bachelor's degree holders, master's degree holders that know the importance of education. They have not been reached out to. My elder brother, Fandamadi from New York, he's a CPA. He doesn't know much about FELMAUSA unless we explain it to them. So we have to have a priority to explain FELMAUSA's objective to people that it belongs to. Let's give an example. Ishmael, a co-chairman of this board, he practiced medicine. He's not a doctor, a nurse, or he's in the medical field. Has a potential. We have so much of those things in our community. They have to be told. They have to be appealed to. We have to make them understand what is this about. My brother may not get this interest, but if my ethnic group get it, I believe that I've got it. When Hassan Ouattara became president of the Madingo community around this world down here, we're all happy. We're not from Ivory Coast, we're from Liberia. So we have to have a data system. Every graduation that goes on in state, collect those names and reach out to them through emails, through phone calls, through our elder committees, and say what can you do to help this community? That's what we call the big donors in our community, because they have the education, so we assume that they have the better jobs. And once we tell them those things ahead of time, communicate with them, be in constant communication, reach out to other family members that can reach out to their closer family members, that will help a great deal. I am a direct community organizer. Before I became president of Texas, I led every other position in my state, from a secretary to a treasurer to a vice president to a president. Everything I held them because I have a passion for being there for my community. You can call everywhere about here. We have that appeal strategy to see how best we can make people do stuff. We have a box project. When we explain it to them on spot, Madingo people can give money if you ask them to the proper way. On spot, they pledge $15,000 in a meeting. Not all pledges may be given, but if it's past 50% to 60 to 70%, we've already accumulated about $8,000 of those donations. You have to be able to appeal to people. First of all, that is the short-term funding. And we have a 501c3 through institutions and other colleges down here that can help with school materials and stuff that will be used for those people down there. You're looking at a Mandingo man of their school a year is about 3, 4, at the most $500. Times 10, that's $5,000. We don't have to take the whole Mandingo community there. We prioritize who do we see that is in the best, that is in need right now, and we keep track of them. You finish this semester this year, you want to continue, but you don't have the means to continue. Then we create masters, bachelor degree holders, and they will know with their conscience that, you know what, I have to give back to a community that have helped me so much. So we have to create a data system. We have those MBAs and stuff in our community. We've not talked to them about them. So from that part, that particular specific area, momentarily that could help. Long-term funding, we have to have a school that will generate funds for us. We're not building schools to just put Mandingo people there. We are not isolating ourselves from the larger Liberian Mandingo community, the larger Liberian community. We are Liberians. It's a pride to be who we are. We are Liberians. And in our help, we have to incorporate, bring in everybody. People that will be in that school, and that's a debate that we will have. Further administration, policy will be made. Leadership council will look into to see what is in the best interest of our community and Liberia as well. Those schools will be used to generate funds. You pay your tuition. That tuition is, will continue the school project. They will continue to move, and any kind of surplus that's coming will be used to sponsor other schools, other Mandingo communities that are in LUs and other places that we believe needs help to cross that hurdle. And it's after that we encourage. You talk about medical mission. What is it that we can do to bring awareness to medical mission and our nurses down here? We have a lot of Mandingo nurses, women, men. You can remember that medical mission, it was done through us. The awareness was not as large. I'm not taking any credit away from anybody that did this work. They put in so much effort. They deserve our respect. They deserve our praise, and nothing else but our praise. But I think that the awareness strategy is something that we can work on. It's a constructive criticism. It's something that we did not do. We have to applaud those that did it. I can't thank those that brought this idea and those that are following up. Specifically, to go to Joseph Saga. The work that he's done is being marvelous, and all of you guys that did that. But the awareness has to be there. The nurses that are here, through that data system, you know who you can reach out to. And I hope that answers your question, and it's something that we are still working on to see how we can perfect it, inshallah. Thank you, After that.
Thank you, though. Just before you move on to the next question, I'd like to ask seek a little more specificity with regard to a question. I think, if I understood her right, she's been on every medical mission since 2008, 2009, and her question was specifically about the idea that why isn't there a good number of Mandingo healthcare provider? Why Richmond wasn't able to do that? Well, no, it started with Mohammed Dukle, the medical mission, and now with Mohammed Bility. There hasn't been enough Mandingo community member healthcare provider involved. So the question is, why will you do different that will motivate our healthcare provider to be involved? But here in Minnesota, I know more than 10 nurses, registered nurses. What will you do different that will motivate them to jump on board for the next medical mission?
Exactly, Mr. Kumar. Sorry, that question was answered directly. It comes down again to what is our appeal strategy? What is our time factor? Can we travel to those people? Can we talk to those people directly to see, hey, what are we doing? Why is it when it's not affecting our families, we can't take it as an importance? Those have to be done. And again, it comes with incentive again. What do you get out of it? Not everything you get is just money sometimes. We have to be able to translate that to people. We were not there during the practice, those things. We can't just directly say why did they do and why they didn't do to reach out to those people. But what I would do directly, I would prioritize those people in our community, reaching out to them first and foremost, appealing to them, maybe having forums where we discuss it with them in a setting, or maybe visiting them if I have to. We will have a leadership that will travel a lot by the end of our term, we will probably reach out to every state that is a part of this that is within this organization. We have to do that because it's a federation. It is a rotational basis. We have to be able to do that. So that's something I would do. I'm not sure this administration reached out as effective as it did. We were not giving all the information on it. Medical mission was more of a separate entity. If you look at it, the way it was done, we were only informed on how the things were going. So we don't have all the details on how they did it. But my problem, as a priority for me, if the medical mission is going on, we have to reach out to those people, identify who are the nurses in our area, who are practicing medicine in our area, and reach out to them, explain to them what is their stake in this whole thing. And before we can do anything else. Sometimes if they cannot do it, then at the end of the day, we have to reach out to those that will do it. And this is why probably the current leadership reached out to. We got few, including you, but those that were not around for reasons that we don't know now, if they can't do it, we have to keep the ball rolling. So we have to go to people that want to do it. So it's something that we will continue to talk about, but I believe that we have to prioritize ourselves. But we can't do it. We have to keep moving on. We can't stop. Thank you.
Thank you. And may I recommend that I think if we're going to reach out to them, to talk to them, to motivate them, I think we must begin cataloging them, creating a database of all the different Mandingos in the different areas of discipline, specifically healthcare, since that's what we're talking about. We have, first of all, have to know who we're talking about before we can reach out to them. That just comes as a recommendation. We'll take the next call. We'll go back to 5481. I believe he or she should be there now. Philadelphia, caller again, 5481. Would you please confirm where you are, your name, your question, comment, or concern for Brother Sidibey? 5481.
Yeah, my name is Farouk Kone. I'm calling from Chester, PA. Welcome, Mr. Sidibey. Okay, my question here today is, as you know that the late Ted Kennedy, former Senator of Massachusetts, he was known in the U.S. Senate as he was known as a champion for the healthcare, and he fight a long time for the healthcare system in the United States. So everybody, when you talk the healthcare issue, then they will have to associate that with Ted Kennedy because of he was very much popular for that fight. My question now, the scholarship committee, since the first scholarship was launched somewhere around 2007 or 2008, I'm not too sure, but since the first scholarship was launched, and then the second administration came in, and this administration, and we did not hear anything about the scholarship committee, and you having to be the board secretary. So what can we, let me say, how can we be convinced that the passion you are telling us today, we have been fighting our passion at the time, but in 2 years' time, when this administration came over, he was Secretary General for the board, which responsibility is to make sure that the organization prosper, and as everyone knows right now, that the scholarship committee is not even functional. And so what can you tell all that you have been doing on the board to even consultate the administration for the 2 years period to reactivate scholarship program? Because we've been following this the administration on the latest. I personally have not heard anything from the board with respect to the scholarship, and now you are saying that is a primary goal when you are elected as president for the organization. I don't know we are allowed to give two into one question, but if not, I'll rest right here. And if so, I'll give my second question.
Yeah, let's take the one question. You can always come back and ask a second question. Thank you for being considerate. Mr. Sidibey?
Yes, sir.
So what have you done on the board in your capacity to highlight the educational issue that you now trying to use as your own signature project were you to be elected?
I said earlier that I have education is a passion for me. I believe that it's the single most important thing that we need. So if you say that, you have to be able to back it up. And I also have said that administrations have priorities. When this administration came to embark on a journey on a community center is an educational aspect. And this is what they intended to do. Having a community center, they said they were going to bring in gold, to learn and go. For someone who grew up, who was born in Liberia, came in a refugee camp, went to refugee school, and was in a Madingo community, we knew what gold did for Madingo, older Madingo women down there. It was something that I embraced wholeheartedly. I was one of those who actually blessed that program. So if we pass it, that's something we've done right there. Because they said we could help our women down here. We could help the community center that was going to be built in Philadelphia to children weekly, to help our children that are here to not just Liberia. So I had it in my mind where, okay, that's something that's also in educational domain, and I have to respect it. You cannot force your decision on an administration that was elected, an administration that brought its own agenda. So they brought that. When they did not follow on that, based on all the things that were going on at the time, we communicated to them. VBA was almost a brother of mine. We talk, we discuss, we argue bitterly on issues, because I was a direct liaison from the board to the administration. We decided that we would disagree on everything sometimes, but we will not turn our back. That has happened before. That was some of the things that we did. So when it comes to education, education was on the table. Bro, Mohammed Sharif, being the Education Committee chairman, he sent us letters. And if you see the reply that we sent to them, that they were about to invite all those that have graduated within a year or two to a ceremony, begin a conversation about education. What can we give back? We answer it with fervence, with energy. Why it did not go on? We continue to have those discussions. They've just made an assessment back in Liberia. Students that have applied, students that have been approved, or how much can be allocated to them. It did not reach to the board at the end, but we talk about it because he knows I have a passion for education. He brought it to my attention. We discussed it very professionally and on a friendly basis, because we both have this together. And when we talk about it, I made it clear to him that these were before we even intended to run for this organization, for this leadership. But it's something that's the administration's duty. We can do things at the bottom or behind the scene to reach out to them in those ways. We talk to them if they can prioritize it. But if they don't, it's not much you can do to fight it if they have some other things that they are doing. It is an administration. They were elected. They have their own interests as to what they want to achieve. We can only do it through, if I may say, a passive way to kind of influence it. But we cannot put ourselves there directly criticizing them when they are doing some other things. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take two more new callers, and then keep in mind that education is just one segment, one portion of Mr. Sidibey's platform, and we've been here over an hour now. He does have other areas to go into. So I'll take two new callers here, questions here. And those of you who have made new entries, *61 in an attempt to ask follow-up question. We ask that you please wait after Mr. Sidibey goes into the next area, and then you can still throw light on the education, and then perhaps ask questions about the new area you will go to. So let me take the two new callers here. First, I'll take Mr. Osman Randolph Jabata of New York. and then I'll take Mr. Joseph Sako, and then we will allow Sidibey to move forward. Mr. Jabate from New York, welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Thank you for your continuous support and your question for Mr. Sidibey.
Yeah. Let it be known that I'm not a member of FELMAUSA, but I'm interested in what is being discussed on this forum. And so that's what I'm here, and I'm listening to Mr. Sidibey. And I'm little concerned about his proposal of building Mandingo School in Liberia. And whereas there are several Mandingo affiliated schools in the country that need renovation, that need help. And we have the Bound School, we have Sanikole, we have Muslim Congress, we have Fofana School. All of these schools need help. And then you are telling us that you want to add to that why those schools are not being helped at all. I will tell you my experience, and I have recognized on several visits to Liberia, almost 2 times a year, in reference to education. We found out that there are a lot of schools, and the quality of teachers, we are having problem with that. And now you come and add another school, and whereas there is no quality teachers in the country already, what kind of school are you going to be creating? And where are you going to get a manpower to run a school? Just the name is something you need to consider when you are elected. And even when you are elected, you need to also consider supporting these schools that already exist. There's a school in Banga that was supported by the former president's wife. I have visited that school, and so I think you need to consider, instead of building a school, you need to really consider supporting this school right now. They need a lot of help. That is just my comment to you.
Thank you, Mr. Jabate. Coming from a teacher, we appreciate that. Mr. Sidibey, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jabate, if I'm elected president, you will definitely be a member of FELMAUSA, no doubt about it. It will be guaranteed because I've seen your passion for the larger interests of the Mandingo community. So we can't just be on the side looking at it. There's something that we have in our platform. I said we say an outreach to people that may not be directly in FELMAUSA. So, Mr. Jabate, what I'm saying, I'm not saying a Mandingo school. I'm saying a school that we can build for funding and sustainability. It's not Mandingo people going in there and learn. That's not what we intend to do. We don't want to continue to put ourselves in isolation. This is not what we're doing. And we intend to shy away from these challenges. It's something that we embrace. We believe that we can't continue to look for money through different things, through begging, through donations and stuff. There has to be, FELMAUSA has to evolve and think big and broad. What can we do to continue to begin to generate funds in terms when we don't need it? When we don't have money, what do we do? When we don't get money for those people, our donors, what do we do? This is where we come in. This is where the school is intended for. We want to build a school. It's not where we are putting just Mandingos in there. It's a school that is going to be paid for, whether you are a Mandingo or not. There will be ways where people with actually excellence in our Mandingo community that will be helped through it in different ways, and that is a debate that we will have. This is our idea as of now, and we will continue to improve it. But the school is meant to sustain our scholarship program that is in other schools, that is in places like LU. We have identified already, this current administration has identified 3 or 4 students that some of them need to become an engineer in mining industry, and one of them that I don't recall directly. We need to fund them. We have 1,000 in our account. Dallas has about 6,000 or 7,000 in its account. FELMAUSA has 1,000. It's unacceptable. okay? That is unacceptable. We have to find a way to be able to get money when we don't have it, that continue to make itself. And this is not just going to be for this administration. It's going to be something that we can sustain. And we will have the debate of how it will be managed, because we've seen over time, as I said, we can activate our leadership council here, comprised of former presidents that have given their lives to this organization to help sustain those things. But we can't shy away from making money aspect. It will be naive to me to think that we should just focus on doing the same thing over and over and over again. And we will talk more on these things, but it's something that we have embarked on. We accept every idea. We embrace every idea, how to adjust and make ways for the betterment of it. But it's something that we have, and we want to take on it, inshallah.
Okay, thank you. I'll take my second new caller. Brother Musa Keita, Brother Farouk Kone, I'll ask you to hang in there with a follow-up question. I'll take Mr. Joseph Saka, and then after that, we will allow the candidate to move on to the next project, of his platform, and then after that, we will take your questions again. So, Mr. Joseph Saka, welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your question, comment, or concern for candidate Sidibey. Hello, Mr. Saka? Joseph Saka. All right. Well,
hello, did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kroman, for this, forum. This is very informative. And I also want to congratulate my younger brother, Mr. Sidibey, on his intention to run for the highest office of this noble organization. Before I even give one or two questions regarding education, let me just digress a little bit regarding his current position. Mr. Sidibey, as of for this time, 3:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, are you still serving as the Secretary General of the Board of Directors of Federation of Liberia Mandingo Association USA?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you are also involved in decision making of that board.
Yes.
Okay. All right. The reason why I would just bring that question because, I was a little bit troubled by by the posting of the resolution, the decision that was taken against one of the contestants, and you been qualified, been certified by the election commissioner to run, and you also sitting the board discussion to take a decision against one of the contestants, which was a little bit troubling to me. All right. Having said that, now I know that you are actively involved in decision making. Let's go back to the platform or some of the programs that you have outlined. I am very, very happy that you took education as one of your priorities. I'm a person that, when it comes to education, I'm all out for it. And whoever comes, emerges victorious. As long as it's education, we'll definitely, give a maximum, support. Anybody can count on us for that. On the refugee days up to now, we are up for it. The one thing that actually, I think my previous speaker, Roger Bate, we're actually seems to be a thing about question regarding building school in Liberia. All right. So it's a good idea. We need more schools. That's good thing. But I don't know whether President Sidibey, in case if he's elected, has done any kind of feasibility study regarding the sustainability of, a newly built school in Liberia, because one of the rationale that you presented behind the building of a school is to ensure continuous funding for the scholarship as well. If I did get that correctly. So we do have other schools, Fund School and other schools that probably may get some help there. Why is it that you are not actually trying to, provide assistance to some of these existing schools in terms of books and stuff like that, and also encouraging other students to go there, and instead of building a new school, and which will be paid for, we do not know how much it will be paid, looking at the economic system with the 85% unemployment rate. There are a lot of elementary schools and that are free of charge. People barely attend those because parents do not can't even afford the copybooks. Now you want to build a new school that will be paid for, that will sustain, that will pay for the teachers over there, and also part of that resources or part of that fund, money generated, revenue generated, will be used at least to continuously support the scholarship program. So have you done any feasibility in that regard?
Brother Saka, excuse me for a second. Sidibey line just went off again.
Okay.
And I have been, this is the second time, and he's always quick to come back, and here he comes now. All right.
I was listening, Sarah. I was listening, yeah.
Yeah, I know your line went off. I'll just tell you. So, Mr. Sako, could you please repeat just the last portion of your question? Yeah.
No, I was just actually talking about whether my brother Sidibey has done any kind of feasibility studies before we even came out with this marvelous, plan of building a school that will be paid for, and we don't even know, how much will be paid that will be enough to sustain that school in terms of paying for the staff and also support the scholarship program. How realistic is that? Is that was that based on a feasibility study? And secondly, the 10 to 15 scholarship students that he mentioned, all right, also like to want him to throw light on how he came out with that figure, 10 to 15 students that will be, supported to very high institutions. And are there any processes that he envisioned to put in place in getting these students to these areas of our studies? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Mr. Kuma, specifically, if I did not go to certain questions directly as he mentioned, please remind me as well as you did in Ms. Kamara, because I want to make sure that we shape this debate, this interesting discussion, I would say, to what our statement is and what it might be perceived. Mr. Saka, every time we speak, we always recognize the great work you've done, especially on medical mission and the selfless services to this community. We've seen leaders leave and not come back. We've seen you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. And when we talk to you about our intention to run, you say whether if we win, so you will be there to help this community no matter what, no matter who's there. And I just wanted to make sure the public knows that, because these are some things that we do at the back of it, behind the scene, but people need to know about the character of the man you are. So our discussion on education is this. We are saying building school in Liberia first is a plus by helping the Liberian school system. That's a plus right there. We are adding up to it. And we are saying the school is meant to be to generate funds for the program that we have. He said it's a 5-year plan to complete this study, to complete this project. 5 years, we will not be there as president, or we may not be there as president. What we can put in place is a physical body. And in the first by the end of the year, our term, we said that a school will be built by the end of our term. That's something that we've put in place, discussed about. We've asked. I can give you a few feasibility records that we've done. The Saran Kaba Jones, many of you may have known. She's a Liberian. Her dad is an ambassador. She's the CEO and founder of Face Africa. She's building water projects in Liberia. We've asked them about how these things are done, how these fundings are done. We've gotten so many impressive answers. So we did not just embark and theorize those things and say, you know what, school will be good. School is just when we build school and then they start making money by itself. No, this is not how we did this. We sat down, we asked ourselves, we numbers together, and we decided, you know what, this is something that we can do. Because what we're doing right now, when Joseph Safco is not there to continue the medical mission, who's there to do it? We don't have that people there right now. We don't have it. We can debate it. People who can take up the mission, have those donations, all those things that he's been doing. So let's be honest with ourselves, because we're going to have to be able to educate ourselves on how those things are and put a system in place where we can, in fact, there's a system where, in fact, when he's not there, the knowledge is there in our community how to do it. This is the greatness of the United States, and we have to emulate it. When presidents leave, whatever it was done is on record. We don't have that now. So when it comes to specifically education, what we want to do is not meant to add a burden to a community. How we're going to sponsor it, in fact, from the start, is this. I've talked about once we get that piece of land through an aggressive fundraising project that we did, the medical mission that he sent to us, it had about 35 to 50,000. I'm not sure. It was thought that it would be done through aggressive fundraising projects, and people kind of embark on those things. There's a priority that we intend to do. We said that we're going to identify all the women groups in this community here. That's adding up to community chapter leaders. What can they do? We also said that we will allocate and maybe identify all the educated Madingo communities from bachelors to masters that are in this community here. Physically appeal to them. Maybe go to their homes and see how best can they get back to communities. We've contacted educators. We've contacted highly recognized Madingo people. Kemo from Boston, we've talked to those people, right? We've the director of education, the director of communication in Liberia, Madingo Warite, he was here, I think 2 weeks ago in Dallas. We went there, we introduced ourselves to them. How can we be of help to him here? We are not sitting down alone to say, you know what, this is not what we want to put a stamp on. We want to do something that we believe is important, and we have to discuss it. So when I said the funding from the beginning, how we're going to pay the teachers, this is a business. The school is put in a form of a business for FELMAUSA. FELMAUSA has to think where it can make its own money. This is what we intend. So once the project is done, through those donations or so, we'll continue to, once it starts generating its funds, then you make money to make profits off of it. So that's where we'll make the money, Mr. Sako. If I'm not specific, you can follow up right away.
Okay. We will certainly make some follow-up on that. But in the interest of time, I like to ask you to proceed quickly with the next items on your platform. So we were just talking education, and we thought it wise to entertain some questions in that regard, so we don't bore everyone with long explanation from you. We wanted to make it interactive. Now that we've taken some questions with respect to education, how about we move on to the next items on the platform, sir?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. We've talked about transparency and rule of law. It's something that that's being discussed. It's something that we've talked about. It's something that we continue to practice. We have had it where it's something that we have to prioritize as well. If you look at the history of FELMAUSA, it's been where you did this, I did it, so what? It's always in the case. You always hear the saying, "Two wrong cannot make a right." So we want to prioritize transparency and adherence to the rule of law. And how do we want to do that specifically that others may not have done? We want to open a dialogue where, under no conditions, that we will turn our back to the law just because somebody else has broken it. And this will entail all the prevailing discussions that are around the country right now when it comes to FELMAUSA. Excuse me, sir. Buddy.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are with you. Yeah.
Okay. We said that.
Listening. Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm speaking. Adhering to the rule of law at all costs and with no precondition. We want to initiate a quarterly State of the Union forum. You see that interested Mandingo people, they're interested in FELMAUSA, but they can only hear news through somebody else. There's not a direct contact between the administration and the larger FELMAUSA body in specific time, giving State of the Union at a time. So we want to create a quality State of the Union where we discuss with all our members. Generally, we have LDF. We can create our own maybe and see where are we, where do we stand, what are the prevailing situations, what are the takes on it. So we want to introduce that to our community as well. We want to activate our leadership council. As you can see, it's in the Constitution that past leaders have to have some type of position where they can hold on to. In case there is a conflict resolution that the board or the administration does not agree to, what do? We have the board that make the law and interpret it as well. It's something that personally I have a problem with. I believe that we can always talk about how to improve those things. The board does not agree to what the administration did. The administration does not agree to what the board did. It goes into chaos. And who takes the blame? Our public. The poor public are not aware of what is going on. So I want to activate our leadership council, maybe Brother Richmond, AB if he's around, Mohammed Famo Kone, maybe if the president is not there, and Mohammed Billet, they will be there to be the watchdog for this organization. The board decides something, the administration says no, and we talk about it, we go back and forth, and then there's a fight. They're coupled with our imams at our bigger institutions here who will look into that. I want to activate that. That's where we come with a transparency and rule of law. That's what we want to do as well. We want to be a liaison. Those people are going to be a liaison in the case of a breakdown between leaders of the organization, maybe or chapter. They will also help to educate people on how this organization is going on. We have many times everybody, whether it's on listserv, whether it's between that dialogue, people discuss things that maybe they don't know about. These people will be highlighting those issues. So when it comes to transparency, our main focus is going to be on that, how to adhere to the rule of law at all costs, how to activate our leadership council. That's something we intend to do. If you have questions on those, we want to answer it and then enhance our knowledge on how those things are going. Thank you, Mr. Kuma.
Okay, thank you. So, well, folks, that is the second items on Kennedy Sidibey's platform agenda. First was education, and now is transparency and the rule of law. On that note, just as we did the education, if you have any comment, concern, or question regarding what is education, even though we don't intend to go that far back, but it'll be a fair deal. If you have any questions, regarding education or now the rule of law and our transparency, now would be the time to dial *61 on your phone so that we can open up your line, to have you raise those concerns before we move on to something else on the agenda. Mr. Sidibey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I'm just double checking. I saw another Sidibey line dropping here. I want to make sure that was new. So we'll start again with the Rochester man. the young Mr. Musa Keita of Rochester, Minnesota. Mr. Keita, welcome back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your follow-up question and or new question with regarding to the rule of law or transparency for the Federation. Welcome back to the show.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kroma. We're following the show, and we're also listening to the candidate Secretary General for the board. He talks about transparency and rule of law. First of all, I even want to know what I can qualify myself as a member of FELMAUSA if I just came maybe just 1 year. Okay, when it comes to what you mentioned about rule of law, I think it goes along with a lot of things. And recently, I followed a lot of robocalls, and I observed that the community in the United States here is deeply divided to the extent that Minnesota will not be taking part in a coming of FELMAUSA convention in Philadelphia. I don't know to what extent did he play a major role in making sure that that conflict was resolved so that Minnesota should have gone to take part in the coming convention when it comes to rule of law, because I think when there's flip-flop regarding the transparent aspect any law, then it brings conflict to the people. I think Minnesota is a chapter under the FELMAUSA administration. So what role did he play as a Secretary General to the board in making sure that Minnesota did not withdraw from the coming convention? Thank you very much. In reconciling the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keita. So, Honorable Sidibey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keita. I, as a Secretary of the board, definitely we have to play. If there is something, if there's a fire on the roof, unless you are sleeping, you have to. Even if you are sleeping, you have to play a role, whether positive or negative. You have to do something, and we definitely do what we believe was best in the best interest of the organization to help heal this wound and begin to move forward. Did it work? Not. It did not. Did we do our best? And this is why we want to explain what we intend to do if we are president of this community. What can we do? Do we have to reach this far? Sometimes it may, because sometimes you vision what you want to do and you see something else that is there. So you have to expect the unknown. Or that's one of the characters leaders must have. Do everybody have it? Probably not. And it's something that's important. What we did as a board member and as a person of FELMAUSA, as a Madingo man and an interested person in FELMAUSA, we've loved this community. This is our treasure. When it started, we made it clear. It was where Minnesota started. Minnesota said they asked for the convention. And said it was on record. I'm not here defending the administration of Minnesota. I'm just telling you what is going on and what we intend to do and what we would do, in fact, for this thing not to reach this far. Because we are joined by this federation. This federation is bigger than one state. It's bigger than our individual selves. And we have to do anything to protect it. That's our mission. If you are a member of FELMAUSA, this has to be your priority. How do we continue to follow the rule? But at the end of the day, how is FELMAUSA going to be the only and the best organization that we have? This is our mission. So what we do when this thing unfolded, when we were told that, Philadelphia has been awarded, we came on the board when we had a discussion. Honorable President Mr. Mohamed Dola, our good friend, explained it to us. Initially, we said, okay, this had to be for Minnesota because they asked for it. Was it given to them? Well, they went through a process. So they wrote a letter to the board as well for their protest, written by Lassana Bamba, by the leadership of MMA. And we discussed it. We invited the administration. It was led by the VPA, one of the biggest presidents in administration, with also the PRO and the membership committee, and the social committee chairman that was directly had his hand in this, because they do all the details. So we worked. We did our part. We did what we could do. So when the protest sent us, we wrote them, and they came to our meeting. First, we heard Minnesota, and we heard administration. We wrote the administration. We said, please cease all publicity until we find a resolve to this issue. Because our intention was, how do we find an amicable solution to this? Administration, right away, a few hours later, they sent out info about the convention. They said it was their constitutional duty to carry out what they did. Then we decided, you know what, we can't stop working. We have to do something. Now, since it is a protest and it's a letter of complaint, I said personally that a letter of complaint should go to the administration, since it was the chairman of the social committee chairman who sent the letter awarding Philadelphia the convention, sent the letter of complaint to the administration. That's what the Constitution says, of which capital we should have. Now, if the administration fails to do what it has to do, that's when we take in. But the letter came to us anyway, but because of the urgency of the problem, sometimes you relax certain things which could be a flaw. So we decided to discuss it. At the end of the day, we decided that even though there were mistakes on certain parts, and I'll go into those things in detail for a bit, we said that, okay, let's discuss the merit. What should we do? We decided, okay, should administration if the administration have a right to give it to Philadelphia? Was it actually lawful what they did? And after the discussion, the board agreed that there was no way we could take it away from Philadelphia. We believe that there were certain things compromised by both the administration and maybe MMA and the board. So we decided to say that, you know what, let's see how best we can decide to work on these things on the side. We did establish on the board that the convention has to go on in Philadelphia. Why did we decide that? That was decided because we have a committee chairman that was confirmed by the board. The confirmation on the board has come with the consequences. They have certain power. If the power is not contradictory to the Constitution, they can carry out that power. That's why the confirmation is about. We are still young in the law, but what we have learned, what we have seen, is every organ or every institution within the community has certain policy. And during his policy, there were letters that were sent to states that show your interest. Minnesota showed their interest, and Philadelphia showed interest. And there was a follow-up letter. There was a follow-up letter where it said, okay, since you've shown interest, both have shown interest, bring a proposed sheet, what you're going to do about the convention. And when he came on the board, he said, by the way, key players in this are all from Minnesota. We have the administration, its secretary and VPA from Minnesota. We have MMA leadership from Minnesota. We have the social committee chairman from Minnesota. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we are asked to do without meddling into state affairs. So when it came to us, and I'm saying that not personally, but this is what the board did. We established that, discussed, we talked, we analyzed what the administration may have done wrong, and we analyzed what MMA may have not done right. And we decided what it was in the best interest to carry the Constitution, for the administration to carry it on. Even though they defy the board that's supposed to be the highest decision-making body, but the board still decided that, well, they can still carry it out. We cannot take it back again because we have a fight to actually do again. It has to be an even greater division again, and we can't afford to do all of that. That's not my statement. That was the board statement. And there might be board members and stuff like that. I took an oath to carry out those constitutionality. So when we did that, they sent us those letters. The letter that said, well, he said, I am from Minnesota. I would love this convention to be in Minnesota. It helps me with finances and stuff. Send me just a sheet of paper, a proposed plan, and then we will see what we can do. But Philadelphia has sent theirs. If you don't send yours, it makes it hard for us to just black that out. When we saw that letter, we said, okay, where there have been violations in everywhere, but that makes it hard for us to, say, Philadelphia, even though it has been given, we are taking it back away from you. What another fight we're about to begin. So the board established that. So Minnesota we started working on ways how to fix it. The Minnesota said we heard that Minnesota was going to continue to do a party or a festival. Recently, we just voted that Minnesota should stop all activities because it was bringing disrepute, targeting our community members, saying that conventional bill of sah. We understand that you want to have a festivity, but if you want, this is the only way we make money. If you stop that, that becomes a problem. If you target that, that becomes a problem. That disrepute. So the administration we wrote a letter to, we established that on the board before my trip to Detroit, that administration should start, Minnesota should stop all convention, all festival activities, and its targeting of FELMAUSA people for this for their festivity. That's what we did. Personally, what I did, even 3 weeks ago, I called Mr. Dole. I said, I know things are falling apart, but what can I do? And this is on record now because it's actually about my character. I said, I know things have gone so wrong. What can I do, though? Who is there? I know you are doing something for your community, but who can I reach out to that community members? He told me, Isiaka Kabatene, Adamadenene, I love this community. I'm a parliamentarian on the board. I love FELMAUSA. And therefore, is something my community decided it's not me. I said, yeah, the community decided it. But I know that imams also can always persuade communities. Dine Yorola, he gave me Imam Dukle Number and Momo, because these are his mentors. And I called them twice. Unfortunately, we did not reach out to them. I reached out to this current president, and I'm on record. We have people on this list. I said, Mr. President, I'm calling. If I have to travel, I can do that. What can we do to have a merger? And this was important to me because I believe that every time there's a breakdown, I can do something to fix it. I've never doubted that approach in my life. So I reached out to them and I said, what can we do, Mr. President, to do this? I think we can have a merger. You are one of the most humble presidents I have seen. We have never talked to you that you've said no. You may have not acted on the things that we've recommended, but you've always spoken to us with candor and respect. This is something that will be a legacy. What can we do? I believe that if we have to talk to Mr. Dole and his MMA to see if we can have a merger, convention, call out Ngofin Kosha. I did not call him out. Call his name out to the president. And I also called Brother Cannon because these are the ones that we hear from representing our community instead of spiritual areas. I said, if we have the transport and we can do that to go to Minnesota, hey, things are falling apart. What can we do to fix it now? These are some things I did specifically. But what will Isiaka do for make sure that these things don't come in? I am a hands-on person. My VPAs, my VPOs, they will do what they have to do. They were elected. By the end of the day, it is Isiaka's administration. I will make sure that whatever comes, it should be my decision, and I should live with it. He gave me what you think is in the best. I gave you what I think. We decided, we discussed it. But what I'm going to do is going to be something I will live with. So I will not let it come to this far, but when it has to come, people will see so much sweat on my face to say, Ana Sekukara. And I did not see that too much. And it might be a combination of factors. It might be so many different frustrations, but I intend not to carry it that way. That's what Isiaka will do. And I want this debate to be about what kind of candidate Isiaka do. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. That was a long deliberation. Folks, if you're just joining us, we haven't got much time left, but I've noticed a considerable number of you have just joined us. I'd like to welcome you to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show. We are hosting one of FELMAUSA recently satisfied presidential candidate in person of Isiaka Sidibey. Tonight at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be hosting another candidate in person of Mr. Bangali Tawale. Isiaka Sidibey is talking with us rather, about his plan for the Federation, otherwise known as his platform. He's discussed education, what he intends to do with that, and now we are on transparency and the rule of law. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not even sure how many other items on the platform, but he's also made it clear that everything that we talked about here will be written out, will be on the listserv or sent out to our people in other forms of shit. So if we are not able to absorb all of the issues here, because we've been here going on 2 hours or 3 hours now, if we are not able to absorb all of the issues here, make no mistake, he will still find a way to get it over to us so that we can look at it and make comparison. Now, Mr. Sidibey, since we are discussing transparency and the rule of law, I noticed when Brother Joseph Sako asked his question, he began by asking whether you are still on the board, and you said yes to that, and he also asked whether you are still the secretary, and you said yes to that. Yesterday, there's a literature circulating on FELMAUSA listserv, some sort of resolution coming from your institution, specifically the board. There's a specific portion in there that cautions the certification of your fellow competitor, the Bangali Trawali certification. As a member of, as a Secretary General for the board, what's your personal position on that? That's one. And two, since we're discussing transparency and rule of law, do you now see some sort of conflict of interest here? Whereas on one hand you are still on the board as Secretary General, where you are participating or making decisions affecting your fellow competitors, and on the other hand you are a candidate. If you do see conflict of interest, will you resign that post before the July 6th election, Mr. Sidibey?
Yes, and I forgot I didn't answer it directly to Joseph Sako. I asked you that you should remind me. I've made it clear to the board that while it is not illegal, but it's something that I believe is something that I don't agree with directly, that I should be writing on behalf of the board on social media or on listserv when I have something to deal with. I've made it clear. I made it clear to my chairman. I made it clear to the leadership of the board. But what I was told, that I took an oath to do whatever it takes to execute the secretarial position. And until I resign, it may be perceived differently, but until I resign, I will have to continue my duty. That's what I was told, and I don't take my job lightly. There have been times where the burden has been on me directly to carry out those work. You know how it gets sometimes, but it's something that I wanted to do completely. But it's something that I wrestle with to say, you know what, I have a lot of respect for the candidates that are running. Certain things, what I put out there, will help me or will hurt me. Those that will help me, would they be ethical in my personal self? Absolutely not, because I believe in that. I believe in self-criticism. I ask myself this question: what if it hurt me? Would it not be dumb on my side to do that? So the conflict of interest, we've thought about it. I've made it clear openly to my folks. But as you've just mentioned, I'll be waiting to resign from the secretarial position as soon as possible to make sure that it is not perceived, or it is not even a conflict of interest. So my ambition, because I have an ambition, and how to carry that out, I will have to do anything to carry that. But so in order to do that, I have to make sure that my ethic, my conscience is well reserved.
Thank you, Mr. Sidibey. We'll take a question from our brother Farouk Corner again from Philadelphia area, and then after that, I don't know how many other items we have on the agenda. After that, I would suggest that you go on again. We still have a lot of people here, and then shortly after that, we can begin to find a way to wrap up here. I know you are a busy person. Campaign has been authorized and declared. So we'll take our next question from Farouk Corner again in Philadelphia. Mr. Corner, welcome back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your question for Kennedy Sidibey, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kumar. Again, welcome again, Mr. Sidibey. My follow-up question would be, it will be still on education issue. As we all may know that FELMAUSA, one of the fundamental pillars of FELMAUSA is educational empowerment of our community, of our Ladrone Madingo community. And the reason of the degree issue that was drafted in the Constitution by the first administration was to motivate and encourage our brothers and sisters to take education seriously. So, and this requirement will emphasize in the Constitution that at least a presidential candidate or executive post candidate should at least possess a bachelor degree. And as you can see, during the tenure or the time of the past election, and this was compromised in the Constitution, and the degree issue was removed from there, and said that you should have a little college of credit. As unfortunately, Mr. Sidibey was that with that, he has making known to everyone all here that he's a champion of education, and the bachelor degree issue is a very important issue for a leader to possess, which will inspire and encourage other brothers who have intentions of getting to that presidential position or vying for that position. So what would be his personal interpretation with respect to the compromise of that particular constitution, which remove a bachelor degree offender to reduce it to college credit. So that's my follow-up question about education. And strictly going to the rule of law, what is in the Constitution, the being a board member, I believe that is a formal responsibility is to interpret the Constitution. So I just want for Mr. Sidibey to inform us today what is the procedure, of a rule of law, or procedure, let me say, in hosting the convention, if there's anyone. And finally, looking at Minnesota, we have seen Minnesota sabotaging the federation, and you have the chairman or the co-chairman who is the organizer of another para event to sabotage or FELMAUSA convention. What are the consequences of the organization of the vote that is actually, the state of vote may take, to penalize anybody that will behave in such a way to underrate our FELMAUSA convention. So I want to
thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Kone. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Kone. And I hope you remember all the questions. I will do my best again to answer all of them. When it comes to education, it is clear in the Constitution where it says every election commissioners will send a guideline pending an approval from the board. Guidelines, policies, these are an extension of a constitution. All right, that's one. Two, when it comes to education, I said I have a passion. What did I do? I'm still going to school. I am fluent in both English, Arabic, and French. I don't take school lightly. I mean, I have done everything in English directly, but I've done it in other languages, and I continue to do them. This is something I possess. It's something I love to do. You've seen during the election guidelines that was sent, election guidelines are meant to help in different areas. You've seen that many times only one or two run for president. Nobody runs for anything else. The election commission decided to facilitate. And saying that it was a bachelor's there, or it is a bachelor's there now, I have not seen that now that is there. The one that was sent and that was also approved by the board, it says a college degree or college student to facilitate people to come out and exercise their democratic process. That's what it says. And if we want to say that we can always play with the Constitution and talk about it and say, you know what, how about this convention? Because what is not in the hands of the board lies in the hands of the General Assembly. You and I know that in the Constitution. Because before the General Assembly, the board might have some powers. But in front of the General Assembly, they decide, the delegates decide that. If the delegates decide that they shall be put in the Constitution and will never be retrieved, that's the clause that they can put down there. But as long as it's not there, every time, every election cycle, there will be a new guideline. There will be approved or rejected, and there will be a continuation of that over and over again because that's what it says in the Constitution. And what was the second question again, Mr. Kurma?
The second question, I've not let him.
Okay, that was about Minnesota sabotaging the convention. I just told you earlier that the board decided that this was a violation of the Constitution. It was bringing a disrepute to the organization, and it was not fair to me personally to see that a member of this organization. I believe that we can't turn our back. If there's something that's done to you, if you feel you have been hurt or victimized, many people sympathize. But to change it, it has to be at the ballot box. Whoever did it to you, you have to go, okay, I'll do it through my vote. It is the difference between an American politics or Western politics and African politics. And I respect MMA a great deal. I swear to God, these are people that I love. These are people that I respect a lot. They have a leadership that have a passion for this community. I also believe that when a law is made, whether you are hurt or not, you can change it in different ways, and you have choices in those things. You can actually try to destroy it, or you can try to do it in a peaceful way. And in my administration, I don't intend to reach this far. I have a way to bridge divides. I have a skill to say that, well, I am sorry, now love me for that, maybe it hurt you. Therefore, if you don't agree with what can we do? I have those ways to do it, and this is what I intend to do when I become a president.
Thank you, Brother Isiaka. Now, how about I suggest that we take a quick 2, 3, 4 minutes break, and then we come so you can finish up the platform, and then we can wrap up from there. How is that?
Yeah, that would be great. Farouk, your question sounds like you're imposing me.
Yeah. While we do that, folks, listeners, please keep your questions coming. Don't quit. Keep dialing *61 on your phone. We have Isiaka Sidibey. And I'm trying to make effort to see if sometime tomorrow night, we can have all these great candidates online together and have some sort of debate, pre-convention debate. I've not reached any conclusion on that. No candidate has agreed to it, but I'm making the effort. So let's take a quick few minutes break, and then we'll come back and finish the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sonagad Diaspora. I'm glad with the great opportunity given me to introduce to you your president.
Who wants to become president? Who still want to become president? For me, doctor want to become president. Christian man, you see, want to become president. Mr. Kennedy want to become president. Mr. Lala man want to become president. President, you waiting you. Mr. Ruru wants to become president. Chego. Now how the president business will be? We suffering for some more. Mr. Lala want to become president. President, you see, want to become president. Mr. Your president. Let me tell you something. When they want to become president with Lala, they will come and say, as the president of the Republic of Liberia, I thank you people for introducing me as the president. The power invested in me as the president of the Republic of Liberia. I want to make sure I will bring the red press down. I'm going to pull all the CEO press down. I'm going to bring the gasoline press down. Lolo want to become president. You know he's a idiot. become president?
All right, folks, we got important business to do here. We got to finish what we started. Once again, I'd like to welcome you to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show tonight. Today, we are hosting two great guests on the show. One is on right now, Mr. Isiaka Sidibey of Dallas, Texas, the president of the Mandingo community in Texas, now vying for the presidency of the Federation of the Liberian Mandingo Association in the USA. And tonight at 8 p.m. Central and 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be hosting Mr. Bangali Tawale, who also former president of Minnesota Mandingo community, who also desires the presidency of the Federation. So, Brother Sidibey, welcome back to the show. I want to welcome all our guests back. And if you don't mind, I'd like you to continue with the platforms. We've talked about education, we've talked about rule of law and transparency. What else is on the platform? And can we go there? And then, folks, keep your questions coming. Please dial *61 if you have any question, comment, or concern. Never mind if you asked a question before, you can still ask a follow-up question. Dial *61. We will entertain your question as soon as Mr. Sidibey gave us a chance to. So, Mr. Sidibey, welcome back to the show, and let's move forward with the platform.
Thank you very much, and I can see that you probably are aware of time, but we are aware of the time. My next platform is going to be awareness and empowerment. And what I mean by that is we want to create a news feed within FELMAUSA community. Everything goes on through the board, and the board informs its people. We have 2 members on the board that informs its people. What is the direct reach from the administration directly to state, to members? So what we want to do is we don't want to just go directly to states and say, well, and kind of bring another kind of clash between us and state and leadership. So we want to work through the Secretariat. So we want to create a news feed within the Secretariat. That program started a long time ago. I made that clear to the leaders, the past administration. I said, we are just one people. We may not get all the discussion sometimes. Sometimes it's in fact said that, why is it FELMAUSA people cannot see us? We have those southern states that in Texas. So we want to do, what we want to do is create a Secretariat news feed where every 3 months, Secretary General of this administration will send out agendas that we intend for the community to discuss on their meeting agendas, discussing what is happening in Liberia. We've seen many times here where we've seen individuals respond to comments or position statements, helpful ideas that are being done directed to the Mandingo community. This has to be told to the Mandingo people. When we said it last time, a Mandingo imam was beaten. Among us, how did it reach the people? We have to have, FELMAUSA has to have something intangible where that, it is not done by just regular people. It has to be our responsibility to inform our people. So through that, we want to create a secretariat where every 3 months we gather information, what is going on. Those secretarial departments are working together to make sure that agendas are filled with useful information that are related not just to FELMAUSA but to the Mandingo ethnicity as well. That's something we intend to do, and that's a very short presentation, and I will be answering questions how FELMAUSA outreach that's being put together with global and outreach as well. We say that as Mandingos, we are aware of what's going on around our surroundings. We have organizations, we have Mandingo communities that are not members of this organization. How do we reach out to them? How do we make sure they understand what FELMAUSA is about? And secondly, how do we share ideas? The fact that there's too much fight and too much discussion is probably maybe we are not reaching out to other people and see what they are doing. So in my administration, what I would do, we have organizations from Ivory Coast, we have organizations from Sierra Leone that are Mandingos. We have organizations from Mali and Guinea. These are big heads, big leaders down here. What have they done to help their community? How can we be aware of one another? How can we be helping each other on things that we may not have the ideas or the expertise on those things? So we want to create an annual meeting system where annually those leaders may, not physically sometimes, but actually on a conference call, decide what is this organization about. Reach out to them on major conventions or major events. How can they be represented as well? Because at the end of the day, it's about growth. everybody that says Ngo. You could be of Basanoka, you could be of Konya, you could be of Boniga, you could be Manika, you could be whatever. But in the Kabbalah for Ngo, there's something that we hold together, and we have to be able to reach out and say that. When the Fula, people from fundraising, people from Gambia, people from Sierra Leone, 27% of Senegalese are Fulas. You don't see a nationality talk because it's about helping somebody in other organization right there. Why can't we do that? Why is it a fact when it's Liberians that are discussing it, we divide right there before we even go global? That's something I want to have an honest discussion about, and I intend to, I'm soliciting questions from there. Thank you very much, Mr. Kovan.
Thank you. Thanks again. Folks, we are almost at the end of this first round of our discussion, the first show. And that's the third issue on Mr. Isiaka Sidibey's platform that he just talked about, outreach. Arguably, I know some will say, well, with all the listserv and the robocall, but outreach is a very significant thing. Personally, I like to ask Mr. Sidibey I know it's one thing for us to bring medical mission to our fellow compatriots in Liberia, and like you said earlier, they love us for it, and they should. Anybody who is, bringing that kind of a relief to a nation, at the very least, that person ought to be adored. But beyond that, outside of our medical mission effort, how does President Isiaka Sidibey intends to sell FELMAUSA to the non-Madingo community? How do we work with tribal organizations such as ULA, and other broad-based Liberian organizations on the parallel basis? How does your administration intend to do that?
One thing that we've discussed that directly. One of the things that we put on our platform about outreach was about the greater ethnic growth and also the larger interest, Liberian interest. Because I've always said we are Madingos and we are Liberians. Where interest, I reach out to Brother Joseph Sako once, asked him about Madingo caucus position on dual citizenship. It affects our citizenship in Liberia and our Madingo group. What are we doing about it? And he told me what the administration has done indirectly, but what caucus may have on it. I called the ULA Vice President, Mr. Vamba. I asked him all those things. When we talk about doing certain things, you have to be doing it before you tell people that we need to do this, we need to do that. You have to do that. And I'm putting these names out there not because to align with them or do something, but actually to make sure the community and members, people that are on this list, on this conference right now, to understand that the choice of this election is about people that are working on these things that are important to our community. We can go back and forth. We don't shy away from this. We believe that these are what we need to be doing. Previous administration may have talked about it, about doing it. Did they actually act on it before they let people know? I'm not sure. But I have done it before, I'm telling you. These are things that we talk. I talked to Vamba. What is our interest? I know that you are heading a larger Liberian community, but you are always interested in FELMAUSA because first and foremost, you are a Madingo man. And he told me that, well, he asked me that it's in our advantage. If there's anything that is not advantageous to us, he would definitely let us know. And I said, what can we do? And I told him that intention that we will be trying to see how best we can even create our EULA, regional EULA down here. We talk about that. And I made it clear to him, I said, we are interested. We want to make sure that Liberian Madingos are interested in different things. The Nimba Council, UNICO. How can we do that? I've directly spoken to Rich Moko on all those things. I talked to him about education, and he even told me to quote him because it's one of the single most important things in our life that we need to do, this generation needs to do, and preserve education for the next generation. Because where we are in America, they are 19th. And when they out-educate you, they've done you pretty much. So these are some of the things that we would do. I believe that there has to be a committee within FELMAUSA. You can't be practical because it's hard to find those people. But what Mohammed Sharif are doing on their own, responding to things that are important to our community. People like BT, he's my opponent, but I applaud him for the things that he's done. That's the kind of person I am personally. His work on the Imam issue, I have personally contributed to it. I've had meetings with Bro Kafumba that you hear right now. It's something that interests me personally. And we have to have while we are not a political organization, but we have to have some interest in it. How can we we've seen PRO sometimes respond to those things that are happening, but how can we have a say in it directly? How can we have some type of representation in our community back home when it comes to those things? That's something we will work on. We have not been able to idealize what we intend to do specifically on them, and the honesty is involved in this. We have to be honest with our audience as well. But it's something that we've talked about, we discuss it, and we intend to do something about it. Mr. Kravan.
Thank you. I'll take a caller here, and then after that, I got a couple of text message questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to read all of them, but I'll take a few of those because it is my intention. I hope it is yours as well to end this segment at 4:30 Eastern Time. Let me say 5:30 Eastern Time, which should be 4:30 here, so we can allow you to get to other more important business. We'll take this caller, and I believe this caller is the Secretary General of the Core Administration, Honorable Al Donzo. Mr. Donzo, welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. We are honored by your presence and your question, comment, or concern for our guest, Honorable Isiaka Sidibey, sir.
I'm just making a comment. Thank you so much for accepting me to voice my opinion. Honorable Sidibey, welcome to the LPF show. I'm just making a comment. I don't have a question. Basically, what I'm saying has to do with the three candidates. I know Mr. Sidibey very well. I have interacted with him for the past couple of years regarding board and the administration. So he is the current secretary of the board, and I work with the board directly. I think he has shown me on what he has been going through for the past 2 years that he loves this community. He has time to do blessing for this community, and actually can deliver things that he believes in. So I just want to make sure the community that this gentleman is a fine gentleman. We all can rally for him. In addition to that, VP, who also serves as the former president of the Cinema Association, he also is a very capable person. Have a degree in leadership. Among us, at his record, we believe that when he takes the seat of the presidency, I think he will be a great leader as well. In addition to BT Mohammed Sabana, I've also worked with him on issues related to the listed policies. But what I interacted with him, it appears to me very well that this gentleman loves this community. He has come for the community. He wants this community to move forward. And what I can say here today is to give my finishing support to every one of you. I wish you guys the best. Unfortunately, I cannot vote. It was dedicated I will decide. I believe that they will look at the function and who is best for the community. Every one of you full of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable I. Donzo, Secretary General of FELMAUSA, and Honorable Sidibey, unless you want to add to that. If not, we will take some text message questions here. And since I've mentioned the 5:30 and we are 10 minutes away from that, you also need time to wrap up all of what we said here. Do you care to add to what the Secretary had to say, sir?
No, I just wanted to thank him. Thank him for commenting on all those issues. That's a fair game. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I have a text message question here. It comes from, what is it, Fode Toure? He said, he read that we have a call. The question read that all of the things you've said, from education to rule of law, transparency, and now outreach, they are all wonderful things. My question is, since when you had these ideas? If you had the ideas long time ago, why didn't you not bring them forward? Why must it be on your term as president? Why did you not advise the city administration to advance those things so that it will benefit our people, but you had to wait till you become president first? So then, what if you are not elected? What will happen to those ideas for the Toure?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toure. I brought those forward. It's within me. I try to be transparent myself, first and foremost. I try to be as honest as I can be. In my administration here in Dallas, as a president of my community, I don't know our account number. It goes through a procedure. I don't use it. I don't see it. I have no access to take the money. Transparency starts with those things. I have brought it to this administration, and I'm not judging anybody. I'm not waiting to become. The fact that it is not happening as I would like to, that's why I want to run and give it a shot and make an example and set the record straight. It's something that I want to do because I believe that there are people who would do it, but I believe that I can be the best person to do it. And I'm humbled by the challenge, and I believe that I can do it. If you look at my series of messages that I've put out there, rating to the administration, if they are asked, we are doing what the public asks us to do. If the public asks them to ask about a series of letters we sent to them, that is their responsibility to do. And if they release it, you will see if we acted on those things. This board has kept its promise very greatly. This 2 years board that we've had under the chairmanship of Mr. Kone, he literally nobody is perfect, but he has kept these things going. His rating when we had to write, he's communicated on the phone when we had to do it, and he put pressure on all of us that were working with him. He said, it don't matter if people accept what you're saying or not, but you have a responsibility to do until you finish it. And this is something we did, and we communicated to the board, to the administration. The time is not allowing us to discuss as we would like to, but we did not wait before we become president. The fact that it's not there, that's why we want to take the challenge and see that and give a direction to our community that it desperately needs. Thank you, Mr. Toure.
Thank you. We'll take a live caller here, and then we'll take one more text message question. I said I wasn't going to be able to read all the text messages. And then shortly after that, we will return the floor to you so that you can wrap up. We can be here all night, but I like the fact that you said everything we've said here, or more than what we said here, will be made available to us, to the Mandingo community via, some form of literature that can be retained and go to. But with that said, let me remind the audience that this show and Mr. Sidibey's first appearance on the show, the first appearance and this second appearance, they will all be available on YouTube. The only reason why we don't have the first show up here is because Mr. Sidibey still has not made his picture available to me, which I asked him to do. I hope he does so sooner rather than later, so I can put this show up on YouTube just like many of our other previous shows. We will take the next caller. I believe this is Randolph Jabate Ansu, but it's a different phone number. Maybe a cell phone ran down. He came through a different phone, like he always does. Mr. 7332. Sorry, 7332. Would you please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and your question for candidate Sidibey? 7332.
Mr. Kuma, you are right. This is Jabate. Here is the question. At the last program, you said you talked with each of your opponents, and you had a very lengthy discussion. If you were to vote, and you are not voting for yourself, which one of them you would prefer to be president of FELMAUSA?
Okay.
The candidates that I'm running against, thank you very much, Mr. Dode.
Yes.
The candidates that are running, I have great amount of respect for all of them. I have worked with all of them. And I don't want to be naive here that being a board member, we've had a position statement against what's going on. But until it's nullified or whatever, we stay consider what the election guidelines, election commission has said. We have 3 candidates as of now. So I work with all of those people directly. I've had the chance to work with Mohamed Fofana for 2 years. We've communicated. He's a great guy. He understands our community. BT, on the other hand, he's demonstrated his work for FELMAUSA. I've seen him in conventions. I've seen him last year talking about Mandingo agenda. I've seen him talk about Imam issues. Yeah, a very great guy. I wouldn't be honest if I said otherwise. I intend to vote for myself. They were there. They communicated with us about their intention to run, and we blessed them as well. And when we decided to run, we also asked them. And we made a pledge. I made a pledge that if I don't win, I will work with anybody. But my intention is to win, and I'm carrying out an aggressive election campaign. I'm in Detroit right now. We are taking advantage to talk to people that are here that are very influential. It's something that I don't take lightly. And I know that a competition comes with a win or lose. I intend to be on the winning side. Whoever wins, we'll work with him because we cannot let our community down. We cannot turn back on our community. It's not possible. So I intend to win, and that's what I would say for that. It's tricky, but it's good.
Yeah, that was a tricky question, wasn't it? So let me take, like I said, let me take the two of my shortest text message questions here, and then after that it's 3 minutes for the 4:30 here, 3 to 5:30 on the East Coast. After that, we'll give you the floor to wrap up here. Some of you just joining us, we want to thank you for doing so. And as a token of our appreciation, if you have questions, by all means, that's *61 while we're still here. Otherwise, I'm going to take a few text message questions here, and we will return the floor to the candidate for his closing remark. It's been a great show. Here's a text message question. No name. It says, if you truly believe in education like you've explained today, why don't you be another Joseph Sarko, who strongly believes in the medical mission, but yet he has expressed no desire in becoming the presidency. Becoming president has now, impaired his decision to embark on the medical mission. Why can't you be another Joseph Sarko in the sense where you will champion the cause of education, head the education committee, if you will, without necessarily having to become president? That's one text message question. Let me just give you a couple of them here so you can go. The other one is, why should we pick you? I'm a delegate, and for that very reason, I don't intend to reveal my name, because I don't want to be bothered by phone call. But why should I vote for you and not any of your other competitors? Why not for BT? Why not for Mohammed of New Jersey? Final text message question. Yeah, final. Again, if you strongly believe in education, like one caller mentioned earlier, Farouk Kone, why won't you support the idea of stepping down FELMAUSA presidency requirement to a bachelor's degree, thus taking yourself out of the race since you find you do not have a bachelor's degree? So we'll close on those text message questions. And so, Mr. Sidibey, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, from the last question to the first, let's do that, if you don't mind. Let's start from the newly one, why I did not take myself out, and or support the Constitution that says that. When we decided to run, the Constitution, the one that was in place, was what I was qualified for. I've talked about transparency and rule of law. If it affects me, I have to apply. I have to abide by it. We've seen several times. The president, as passionate as he was about gun control, when they turned it down, it was done. But when it's there, when there's a chance where I can take it, I'll go for it if I'm qualified for it. It's all about your qualification, if you reach the requirement. And I've said something right now, and other candidates can come out and say, I said I am a fluent person in 3 languages. I didn't do it by just naturally. I learned them. I went to school to them. So bachelors, I may not have that, but I've had similar criteria, and I give credit to those that have made it, and we are on our way to doing it as well. So I intend to do that. The second question that was Why don't I be a Joseph Sako?
Joseph Sako, and by just
another Joseph Sako, or yeah.
That you say you so much believe in education, just as Joseph Sako believe in medical mission. Why don't you champion education without necessarily having to become president like Joseph Sako is doing with medical mission?
Well, I respect what Joseph Sako is doing, and I've admired it a great deal. We have our choices, what we intend to do. We have our choices, how we intend to do them, what capacity we want to champion them. Whatever Joseph Sako is doing right now is an acceptance of its leadership. I can be a champion of education right now. If it's not prioritized by any administration, they can turn it down. Let Joseph Sako be in education where this administration decides to do a medical mission, and you will see the difference. I believe that to actually achieve, you have to be at certain positions to do things. There are other ways where you can do your best, but to make it a stamp, to make it a print, and do certain things that are really exceptional, you have to actually work your way to that area. I respect what Joseph Sako did, but that was his choice. And we all have a choice, our democratic choices, to do what we want to do. And this is what I've decided to do. I've been doing all great things in education. You come to our community down here, maybe call us, call people that are here. What have we done? What do we do for children in summer schools? What do we do when children do great work, when they pass in math to the extent that and get awards through their schools? What do we do for them? It does not have to be on listserv. It does not have to be a medical mission or educational mission back home. Little things make a lot of difference. So we've done those things. Just wanted to put it out there on a bigger stage. That's what we intend to do.
Okay. And the last question, I found this question laughable though when the guy said, the guy or the girl say, I'm a delegate for the very reason I do not want to reveal my name. But why should we vote for you and not any of your competitor? Why not for BT? Why not for Mr. Mohammed in New Jersey? But by the way, right there, you did not reveal your name, but we know the number the test came from, and I'm going to pass the number on to Sidibey here. You'll still be bad of you anyway. So that's the question, Mr. Sidibey. Why should delegate or this particular delegate vote for you and not vote for BT or your other competitor in New Jersey, Mr. Brother Mohammed?
I respect my candidate a great deal, or the other candidates. But what I also do more than that is have a great ton of confidence in myself. I have done things that I believe this leadership may need from me. And I also need to accomplish those things for this community. This is my community. We all have different aspirations. One thing I can say, before I started running for this election, I told myself, do they have ideas that can for this community? I said yes. Do I have a better ideas? That was absolutely yes. Do I have the level of outreach to all communities, not just men? You can see the boys' club around. But we have an appeal to women group as well? I have that more than anybody on this in this domain. 3, I also asked myself, do I have the time and energy level to do them? And that was yes. These are some of the reasons I decided, you know what, when the community needs me, I have to respond. If there's an election where we can actually put these things into action, let me come in, do those things. This is a character problem. This is where we decide who is, what our community will be like in the next few years, and I intend to be a part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Sidibey. It's been remarkable. Before I refer to you for your closing remark, I know we've talked about Asia, we've talked about rule of law, community outreach, and a whole range of issues. My last question to you from me, this is another text message question tonight.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Sorry. My own line went off this time. That's interesting.
Okay.
My final question to you before we end the show is that tonight I'll be hosting Mr. Bangali Tawale, who is also a candidate for the same position. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but when I talk to him tonight, I will ask him the question that I'm about to ask you, and I'm trying to make effort to reach out to the gentleman in New Jersey. Will you be willing now I'm on and Mr. Sidibey line has just gone off, so I think that's good signal. It's about time. We've been here a long time. I'm going to wait a few seconds to see if he gets back on. He's done that a couple of times today, and I'm sure he'll be coming on very shortly here. Well, folks, I want to thank you as always for being here. It is my pleasing pleasure to have you on here every Sunday, and particularly now, to talk about issues affecting our own community. If at any time any of you feel that you have issues to be brought to the attention of our community, our nation, by all means, please let me know. We've hosted a lot of high-profile guests, but we've also hosted a lot of ordinary Liberians. As a matter of fact, the very show we started with was some regular friends here in Minnesota, and ever since then we've gone on to host several senators, cabinet ministers, Supreme Court associate justices, and what have you. So anybody can be hosted on this show. You let us know what is it you want to talk about. We will do the publicity. We will bring you on. To talk about that. Now, I don't see Mr. Sidibey. I hope he comes so we can wrap up and get everyone out of here. Okay. While we are with him, how about some little bit of music?
Another hip hop classic.
Remix. Explain. Come to me. Dr. Jojo. Rocket Bucket. I got fresh on the wall. Aye. Buffalo from the lead. Talk to me.
Everybody pot falling. My pot can ball. To end dollars. You gotta fall and down. Behold, come home. Not a hole. Papa coming home. We can pass home.
Everybody pot party. Fucking ball. You got to play it all. In the hole, from the hole. Out of all hustle. Coming home. We can pass home.
Everybody pot body, my pocket ball. The only time my pocket ball when the cock hit it all. The struggle keep killing me, I ain't even got dog. I got to hustle hard to buy my baby rubber dog. The economic system by full, jet a rat. Papa said was growing hot, so I gotta speak the fact. You think I'm talking crap? No, I'm talking rap. Just to survive, that's why my niggas are doing old school. Some people say we fool, some people say we go to school. Some people still asking what is doing for the youth. The government breaking, so the youth is still checking. No entertainment, so we making no money. I'm telling this to y'all, I ain't hopping no jaw. That's what I stand for. My body can't ball.
But my part not falling. For Russia in the city, got me kicking some dogs. But my part not falling. Surely say she believe in me tonight. But my part not falling. Let not say I can live tomorrow. But my part not falling. So now what thing I go do? So what play I go go? Which kind of hustle I go hustle now? So now what thing I go do? So what thing I go do? Which kind of hustle I go hustle now?
Everybody pop balling, but my pocket ball. Now everybody cutting shot, but why I can't call the whole cover hole, that the whole hustle.
All right, Mr. Sidibey just contacted me. The phone he was on just fell. Obviously, he wasn't calling from home. The phone just fell, and it's not operable at this time. But he contacted me via somebody else's phone. He's going to use that phone to come online and just do his closing remark. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. You'll be here very shortly.
Then behold, you owe me one bottle. Now everybody for the set, only call for all. I hoping God for you, they want divine Congo all in the whole music game. Let me tell you what they think. The common people still don't know how to think they.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for coming back, for making the effort to come back. And I just told the audience what happened to your phone. So why don't we just go straight to your closing? But anyway, my question was, if I'm able to secure, an agreement from your fellow competitor, will you be open to some sort of pre-convention debate tomorrow night? I'm going to ask BT tonight. I'm going to try to get a hold of Mr. Mohammed, Brother Mohammed in New Jersey. Would it be okay for tomorrow night, sometime 8 p.m., for us to have some sort of pre-convention debate online? I know there will be debate in Philadelphia, but it will be limited to people in Philadelphia. When we have debate on the Liberian Diaspora Forum, a lot more people will be involved, including people who will not make it to the convention. That's the point. That's the point. So that's the question I want to ask you. If you want to include that in your response to that in your closing remark, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I actually told you previously that I'll be waiting to come on the show anytime to explain what I think about this organization, and that's still a yes. I'm here campaigning now in Detroit. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. So based on the time that was sent to us, based on the time, and I'll reach out to you on those issues. But I'm willing very greatly to come on the show with my friends. I call them friends, and discuss those things that interest our organization. And I'm willing. But when I leave here tomorrow morning, I'll call you and decide on that. And I just wanted to thank all the audience that are here tonight, this afternoon. We don't have all the answers for all of you, wallahi. If we do, we would just be somewhere bigger than this. But this is our community. We have to do what we have to do to uplift this community with the little knowledge that we have. We've worked so hard for this community, we don't intend to turn our back on it. Whether or not this election was going to be held, we've been there for this community. We spent hours. I want all of those that are here, if you are influential, to help me get this leadership. We want to help the community in any way possible we can. If we are wrong in anything, we will let you know about it, and you will give us the ideas. We are your children. I just believe that we have things that other candidates don't have, and this is an emphatic statement. We have an energy level, an outreach level. We have a vision that other candidates have not shown to the community. Education that we've talked about, you can all disagree with it now. But in the long run, we will realize, what did we do to help educate our people? Did we do anything differently from helping our own families? The Madingo community that we are all proud to be part of, what did we do for them? It is a question that will linger around unless we are honest with ourselves and ask ourselves, yes, I need to do something. It is the time now to land ourselves behind someone who really want to put it into an action. And not just put it into an action and maintain it. This is why we have a sustainability there. We've also talked about rule of law, wrapping it up. We've talked about the rule of law. We've seen that many times where the organs that are leading this organization, both the board and administration, all of us being part of it, we are not imperfect, turn their back on each other because they felt that the other one is in the wrong. I've brought an answer to it, create a leadership council that will interpret some of those things. So you write a law and interpret it, it's subject to always confrontation or bitter confrontation. We have to have solutions to those things. We've talked about an outreach. Sitting down right here listening to ourselves all the time, discussing ourselves is, I believe, is a fear of exploration. We need to go out and see what are we lacking in, bring it in, reach out to other Ngo people from other countries. What are they doing? They have excelled so much. We have some of them with 100,000 in their account. We have $1,000. What is there that we don't know? What is there that we have not done? They can also copy from us. We have a medical mission that they don't have. I've brought those things to your knowledge today, and I believe that it's something that will interest us. It's something that will benefit us very greatly. I need your vote. I need your help. Talk to all folks that are around you. Let them make their choice based on those things. And I'm very, very optimistic that this community can only be stronger. It is not by us. This is what we've seen ourselves in, whether with us or without us. Madinga community will always exist. We just have to do our part to preserve the promise that was reposed in us. I want to thank you for your time. We've been here for so long, and I'm very humbled by your presence. And inshallah ta'ala, I just wanted to read a Fatiha or whoever, because this is what I am about. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad al-Muhammad. Wa salatu wa salam ala كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. I want to thank all of you for coming, Mr. Kurma, and I thank you very greatly for allowing us to come on this show. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sidibey. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And like you, I'd like to join you in thanking all of our guests for not only coming but staying with us throughout the show. The attendance was impressive. I do want to wish you well in your endeavor. Wish you all the best, and I look forward to hosting you again. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.